What's up, guys? This is going to be a super important, super helpful one, probably the most impactful video I've made to date. We're going to be talking about ChatGPT prompting and specifically prompting in the API. So, if you've never done prompting and or you've done a little bit and maybe you're not sure if you're using it right, we're going to go through all of that. But most importantly, we're going to be going through a very specific feature that practically no one knows how to use and practically no one knows how to use correctly. I even look at the biggest creators in the space, and none of them ever talk about this and none of them ever use it. And it's one of the biggest pitfalls you can fall into because it's going to help you tremendously. And what I'm talking about is the parent key and the child key structure in the ChatGPT prompting. And what that is when you have an API, normally all your content gets put out into a blob of JSON, and it's going to be whatever you requested. Let's say name, number, date, email, all those different fields are going to come out in one blob. And if you want to access each field and map it individually, you're going to have to either filter, parse, or use multiple ChatGPTs if you're not using this parent-child key structure. And so to tell you a little bit about what this is, how it works before we jump into the video, or before we jump into me walking you through all of this, as well as just general prompting pro tips, when to use the user, assistant, system, and how to use each of them and what to put in each of them to get your desired results and outcomes. But to put it simply, the parent key and child key, imagine like a box, right? Let's say a toy box. And inside this toy box, you have multiple different small boxes. The parent key is the large toy box that all these other boxes are held into. And most of the time, the output is just going to be that one big box, and all your tiny boxes of other content is inside that one big box. And you can only map that one big box to your other parts of the flow. But with the child keys and programming the API correctly, you can actually do away with any kind of filtering, and parsing, other ChatGPT nodes. You can do it all in one, and you can map each individual output with one ChatGPT. And so it's going to be extremely helpful. And I'll help give you some use cases as well. The use cases are practically endless. I definitely do not know them all. Because there's just so much you can do with this, and it's such a great feature. And I've done it by accident multiple times, and only recently I discovered how to actually use this correctly and how to actually implement it into my workflows to make things way, way better, way smoother. And it just solved a ton of problems for me. Also, ignore the scruff. It's No Shave November, so I'm just having some fun here, and I can't grow a proper beard. But nonetheless, it's always fun to just let it go. So let's make a new workflow, and let's make a ChatGPT. GPTizzle. Here we go. Message a model. First, we'll start with setting it up like we always do. You have to do the OpenAI account integration, which is super easy. If you don't know how to do that, message below and I'll link you to the other video where I show how to do that. We're just going to go with Mini today. And so when you're doing API prompting, you typically are going to have roughly 4 to 5 boxes, depending how complex your prompt is. The first box should pretty much always be system. System is defining the role. And so you say, you are a helpful, intelligent writing assistant. And so keep it minimal here. You can add more context if it's not working, right? You can add some additional information here, and we'll get into that. And we might just have to do that as well to get the desired result. But next is going to be the assistant. The assistant, how I use the assistant, is an example of the output we desire. And so basically, if there's a specific example you have for what you want ChatGPT to output, the assistant is going to help guide it to a more uniform response. So we'll circle back around with that one. The user is going to be what it's actually trying to accomplish. So you're going to get your task, and you're going to get your rules. And then the second user, and you don't have to do this. I like to do it because structurally it makes more sense to me. but this is going to be the actual information you're going to be putting in. So we'll say profile. And so starting off with the task, you are to extract the email, number, name, and company of this individual. I always spell individual wrong. Induvial is what I like to spell. Yes, or I should say induvial. that says induvial. Okay, so yeah, I spelled it so wrong. It's trying to give me induvial, individual. Period. Rules. Output only in JSON. Don't include any explanations, quotes, or brackets. We're just going to define some general rules here. No EM dashes. EM dashes, guys, are, if you ever get a ChatGPT output and you ask it to write something, it's going to be that hyphen looking thing. That's like a long hyphen. That's an EM dash. It's a dead giveaway that the output is from ChatGPT. Doesn't really matter for this workflow. I just put it into everything because it really pisses me off that ChatGPT just loves going after these EM dashes. And so I put it in every one of them just because I don't like them. No EM dashes. And output one item for each requested field. Profile. Hi, my name's Jake Parent. My email is jake@quantumflowai.net. My number is 555-555-555. And I am the founder of Quantum Flow AI. Cool. And then assistant, example output. And when I say I've done this accidentally, when creating the ChatGPT that's going to give you multiple different mappable child keys, when I do things like this, it sometimes will actually figure it out, right? And it'll start to put them, but it's not going to be consistent. And so we'll show you how to do it consistently so it's not sometimes putting into the child keys and sometimes not, which is going to mess everything up downstream, right? If 3 or 4 times it does the child keys and then 1 or 2 times it doesn't, you're totally just going to miss those. It's going to break the flow. It's going to be a huge problem. So forewarning, we might get the child keys on the first attempt, but it's not going to be consistent. And so I'll show you how to do it consistently. So we'll do name, Jake Parent, or I'll give it a different data set. Bob Everson, whoever the hell that is. Email, Mr. Everson @gmail.com. Number 7777777. Company, the Everston Foundation. Okay. Now let's see. I think that's all the things I asked it to do. Company, number, email, name. Yep. So let's just see what we get here. Okay. So C1, it's going to be in brackets. It's going to have these quotes, even though I asked it not to, and that's because we do not have it output as content as JSON. So anytime you need the child keys or you want the child keys, you have to output content as JSON. So now let's give it another shot. Okay, so these is what I'm talking about. These are the child keys, and it did it this time, which is good because it, understood that we want name, number, email, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times it's going to be a struggle to get it to do this. And no matter how much you clarify or don't clarify, but each of these is mappable in their own right. And so you can drag and drop this later in your flow. So let's say, we add another ChatGPT node. And let's do generate an image just for fun. Make an image of this person. We'll see what happens here. So child keys work this time. They don't always work. Like I said, if we execute this a few times, it might get it again because it seems like the structure is pretty decent here. But that's also a little bit on me. Because I've slowly learned how to do this better and better. I will put one child key for each object. These are called objects. So when you're referencing these, you want to reference them as objects, not items, not fields, objects. And then we should do example format. And this is where the magic happens. This is where you can actually clarify what you want your child keys to be called. And you kind of do it up here in the assistant, which helps a ton with the child keys because you say, hey, you show it, hey, I want 4 different things, and it happened to get it this time. It's pretty consistent, but it's not always going to be that way. And so first one is going to be content. So you always start with content, which is going to be the parent key. So you do content.name. And you can put quotes, you can not put quotes, doesn't really matter too much. Quotes allegedly are better, but I see pretty similar results either way. Email. Content.number. Content. Whoops. Content.company. Execute again. There we go. And so it's always going to do that now. And if let's say we got rid of this. Let's see, we get rid of this and we get rid of the mapping. I'm just going to save it here for a second. We'll just copy and paste it back in. And we'll get rid of this. And then we'll get rid of this. We probably won't get, and we still get the child keys. Well, this is what I was talking about. When I do it accidentally a lot, it will still sometimes do it. And then sometimes it won't do it. We kind of got lucky here. And so I didn't plan this out to do the child keys every single time, but we did get lucky here. But normally it'll output, like this, where you get this blob of JSON under the content. But let's just say I'm just so used to doing it and formatting it in a way that it kind of helps guide it toward the child keys. I think that we've just gotten pretty dang good at making sure that, hey, you're going to stick to this structure no matter what. So that is basically the whole thing. Now let's just generate image just for fun. And let's re-include this. So let's make 4 JSON objects for each. Let's make a JSON object for each child key. And sometimes you type stuff and it fucks it up. Oh wait, I didn't click. Oh, I did. So that's good. And get rid of this. And this is going to be the end of the video, guys. And so if you don't want to watch at the end, you're good. Or if you want to see what kind of crazy image this thing comes up with, which is probably something really cluttered and weird. Let's see. Oh, cool. This guy's awesome looking. Oh, look at all this math. This guy is like Rain Man. That's awesome. So, so that's it for today's video, guys. I was hoping to show you what I kind of did, I guess, of what it would look like and the struggles of getting to the child keys. However, nonetheless, you see the power of it where it's like, hey, I can now map each of these, or I can map the entire content, right? Which is going to be all the different child keys in there. It says object, object, right? Um, and so the huge benefit of this is, let's say, uh, for filtering, if node, right? Let's say if Jake, which could be anything, does not exist, right? Or uh, is not equal to Bob, then we get into the false branch, right? Oh no, true branch, because Jake is not equal to Bob, so true branch. So you can use it a lot for the if node where maybe there's specific things in here. So opposed to doing some sort of regex match where you're looking for a specific thing inside there, you can go mapped object to mapped object to mapped object with multiple different if nodes or one large filter node or switch nodes, whatever it may be for you and what's going to work for your flow. But it really lets you break down the output of ChatGPT. And there was one other thing. Well, I can't think of anything else that's quick to show. And so that'll be it for today's video, guys. I'll be making some more videos about how to implement this into different flows, specifically an autoresponder and auto booker from email. So if someone comes in and says, hey, I'd like to book a meeting for 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, it'll automatically look at that and then book the meeting onto their calendar and send them a reply saying, great, sounds good, just booked it for you. I'll see you then. But nonetheless, this is going to be the key we need to do things like that. So I hope this helpful was video. If it was, did I say I hope this helpful was video? Anyways, if this video was helpful, please like. I would really appreciate any likes, any subscribes. If there's something specific you want to see, comment down below. Or otherwise, if you hated the video, if I wasted your time, let me know too. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.